What is the most important lesson you've learned in your personal journey to this pageant?
I think a lot of you would be surprised to know that 3.5 years ago, I weighed almost 300 pounds. I was a size 22 and I was pre-diabetic. I went to the doctor and she told me that if I didn't turn my life around, I probably wouldn't see my kids graduate high school. One of them's right over there, she's 5. I spent the last 3.5 years on a 160-pound weight loss journey, and I'm so proud to be standing in front of you tonight because this was my dream.
Congratulations, you are looking so beautiful and you have carried yourself so beautifully throughout this pageant.
Thank you so
That's
much.
amazing. Thank you.
Our Mrs. Universe 2025 is Amber! Congratulations, Amber.
I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Baby, I'ma have the best freaking night of my life. And wherever it takes me, I'm down for the ride. Baby, don't you know I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. 'Cause I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Baby, I'ma have the best freaking night of my life. And wherever it takes me, I'm down for the ride. Baby, don't you know I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright.
Congratulations, ladies, Mrs. Universe 2025 winners.
Don't you know I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's segment of I Am Possible with My Dream. My name is Aditi Kumar, and I would like to welcome you all to today's session of I Am Possible. Today is an exciting day for all of us here at My Dream TV family because we are ready to welcome our newly crowned Mrs. Universe USA 2025, Amber UHLER. But before we get to her, let me tell you a little bit more about My Dream TV. My Dream TV has been founded by Rashmi Bedi. She is an industry leader. She is Women Entrepreneur of the Year, and she herself has built this platform of women empowerment and empowered many along the way. She does this along with the undying support of her better half, Mr. Janak Bedi, who is a true backbone of the My Dream family. And we have one more person to thank for all this, and that is the young and dynamic president of My Dream, Surya Bedi. So thank you to the three of you for this platform and for empowering so many women and giving us the empowerment to empower other and tell our stories to many. And with that, let me welcome on the screen with me our newly crowned Mrs. Universe USA 2025, Amber UHLER.
Hello, Aditi. I'm so excited to be with you today.
Hi, Amber. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a whirlwind since winning Mrs. Universe USA. I've had a lot of radio interviews, TV interviews, and now I'm here with you.
Absolutely, and it's my honor and it's my pleasure to be talking to you this fine day. And before we get to hear from you, I would like to let our viewers know a little bit more about you. I think you are one person, Amber, who has more than one stories to tell, who has more than one way to inspire others. As we all know that you are proudly known as the servant queen, you are also a motivational speaker. You have overcome some personal limits yourself, like losing weight. You have been a survivor of drowning when you were a kid, and you have been doing community service for a long time. And on top of that, you are a director in a health tech company, and you are also a wife and a mother of 3 beautiful kids. Oh my
It sounds
God.
like a lot when you say it all at once.
Well, it sounds like a lot, but looking at you, you are doing it so well, so effortlessly. So I feel it's very inspirational, And I mean, these are the kind of stories that we want to bring forward when we say that women can't have it all and we have to choose and prioritize. But, with you as an example, I think we can definitely say that if we try and we put our heart and mind to it, we women can definitely have it all.
I think that's true. And I think something that I do that really helps me a lot is I have a calendar and I keep it very, very, very well organized. So I think when you're trying to do a lot, if you can be organized and if you can utilize and harness the support of your friends and family, then you can do a lot more than you really realize that you're capable of. And that's what has happened to me. First, I won Mrs. Florida. Now I'm Mrs. Universe USA. My husband is a news anchor for CBS. So we also have 3 small kids who are 5, 7, and 8. We're very, very busy, but we utilize the help of my in-laws and my parents and my husband, and we have a shared calendar for all of our events. And that's how we're able to juggle everything and, be able to do so much together as a family, but then also separately in our careers.
That's awesome. Amber, with that answer, you have made yourself so relatable. Like when people look at you with the crown and the sash and all the glamour and all the beauty, and then they think that, oh, this is just that, or what's behind the scene? Behind the scene, you are a mother.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Amber, I have one question for you. I want you to talk about, first of all, your pageant journey, because that's the main topic of today. So, share with us, what was your inspiration? What came in your mind one fine day you decided to do a pageant? You have worked hard on yourself, so just share that with all of us.
I think everyone would be pretty surprised to find out that this is all very, very new to me. About 3.5 years ago, I weighed almost 300 pounds. I've spent the last 3.5 years on a 160-pound weight loss journey. And after I had lost about 100 pounds, I lost 100 pounds, and that's a lot and that's incredible, but I was still unhealthy. I still weighed, almost 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I need a goal. I need something to work towards to, excite me. And I started thinking about, what do I want to do? Do I want to do I want to do an Ironman? Do I want to do a triathlon? And I was like, no, I don't want to do any of that stuff. And then on social media, one of my friends wrote, wow, I can't believe that I won Mrs. World 10 years ago today. And I messaged her and I was like, wow, like, what was that about? Like, how was that? And she was like, you should do it. You would be so great. And so I signed up for the Mrs. Florida pageant. I still needed to lose about 60 pounds, but I had a year until the pageant. I signed up right after the last pageant had happened. And so then I spent the year losing the last 60 pounds, and I went to Mrs. Florida, which was my first ever pageant. And remarkably, I won, right? So this is all very new to me. I, was much more like a fade into the background person. Everybody was, very excited to see my husband that they know from TV and wanted pictures with him. And, I kind of was a little more invisible. And so this has been remarkable change for me and is all relatively new. And so then I went on and I competed at Mrs. Universe USA, and here I am. I won, and now I get to be part of the My Dream TV family. They're so wonderful, they're supportive, and together we are working towards going to the Philippines next year so that I can compete as Mrs. USA at Mrs. Universe.
Wow, that's awesome. And I heard you said that your husband was the on-screen, in front of everything kind of person, and you were in the background. So the dynamics have completely flipped now. I'm sure with this big crown that he definitely can't miss seeing on your head.
He loves it for me. He's so excited for me. All of the media personalities in and around where we live have started calling him Mr. USA, and he loves it. He's really leaning in on it. He thinks it's so fun, and he is definitely a very supportive pageant husband now. He's gone with me to all my pageants. He's been there for me every step of the way. He's, even like having suggestions on like what my national costume should be. And he's very, very excited for me because, you know, for the last 10 years and definitely for 5 of those years when I was morbidly obese, I was very much in the background. I like didn't really wear color. I wore black. I didn't want people to see me. I was embarrassed of myself. I didn't want to like go to parties or go to events. I just wanted to stay home because I had a lot of shame around, you know, the way I looked, the way I felt, my health. And I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I need to turn my life around. And not only have I turned my life around and lost 160 pounds, I've made it to the pinnacle of pageantry. Like it's surreal for me. And I put this crown on every single day. I'm going to do an event. I'm going to do an appearance. I'm going to, you know, do this crown honor. I mean, a lot of your viewers probably know Root V, and that's kind of how I found this system. She got suggested to me on Instagram as I was, you know, Mrs. Florida, and she did over 100 community appearances as Mrs. Universe USA. And I was like, this girl is amazing. She's an inspiration and I want to be just like her. And now she passed the crown on to me. Like I can't believe it. And I'm just so thrilled.
So beautiful. Like you know, about your husband, going back to your husband, because he is setting an amazing example. Because I know I have a 15-year-old. I have a very demanding job in fintech. I make robots, by the way, so you can imagine I have a very like mentally engaging kind of job with a kid, you know, a teenager at home. Without the support of our better half, it becomes very difficult to do anything, just to travel, even to go to local events. So yes, it's a message out there from you and me to all the husbands to be there as the support system, just the way your husband has been. And then just look at you, how
Right.
far
It's,
you've
it's
come.
made our relationship stronger, surprisingly. Like, we do events together now. We bring the kids. Like, this past weekend, we did the Smile Like Aubrey walk, and it helped raise money for free swim lessons for children in Florida through a nonprofit organization. And the kids had so much fun, and my husband had so much fun. So it's helping unite us as a family. But I absolutely 100% could not have won without my husband.
Absolutely. And the other thing that you mentioned, that getting inspired by Ruthvi, our former Mrs. Universe USA, I mean, that's an amazing thing. When women inspire each other, magic happens. Don't you think so?
Right. Well, she, you know, I was watching her. I became such a big Root V fan. I'm sure you all are, but you know,
Yes.
she's a physical therapist. She has 2 children. She's a mother and a wife and, you know, cooks dinner. And then she also did 100 appearances and she placed top 5 at Mrs. Universe. She was my personal favorite. I'm just going to say.
You.
I wanted her to win so bad, but if I can bring it home and honor her legacy, then that would be the next best thing.
Oh, that is such a beautiful thing you said. And yes, she definitely has set a great example for all the coming up Mrs. Universe. And I'm sure with you being our current Mrs. Universe USA, you are going to be just as amazing, or even, you know, create more examples for us to follow your footpath.
Yes, to carry on Root V's legacy and then to create and continue it on and create my own and hopefully inspire other women to, you know, not only get into pageantry. Pageantry has this transformative power. It gives you so many opportunities. It gives you a reason to work on yourself. And then you start surrounding yourself with these teams of people who help build you up. Like, as we were saying, I did not do this by myself, right? Like, my husband was there every step of the way in my weight loss journey, supporting me. I had hair and makeup team. I have My Dream TV USA behind me, helping me for Mrs. Universe. You know, I have a walking coach and an interview coach. There's so much that goes into, you know, becoming successful, and it really polishes you as a human being. And I love telling women, like, if you get into pageantry, you get to have a really great reason to put yourself first, because so often as women, we feel like, well, you know, I would be selfish if I went and did something for me. I could be doing something for my husband or for the family. But if you know, come and find this passion of pageantry, you're like, well, you know, I have to go to my interview coach. I have to go get my hair done, this, that, and the other. And so it polishes you almost like a diamond, right? Like a diamond is a rough stone.
I
It gets
agree.
polished. Yeah.
I absolutely agree, because my personal experience when I was on that stage, I don't know what got into me. Like there was this sudden like stream of confidence that just came into me when the audience was clapping. And trust me, it's not that it took away my time from my family or my job. I was actually better able to do it because I was in such a great frame of mind with all that new energy, and then all the support system and all these amazing queens around you. You just get a new life, don't you think so?
Yes, I absolutely agree. And I've gotten so many new, I call them sash sisters. They're people you meet through pageantry who become your friends for life. And that's really the best part of pageantry, the people you meet, the opportunities you get, and then the new friends for life. Like there's really no negative. It's all positive.
It is. And the thanks goes to Rashmi ji and Janet ji for creating such a beautiful family where we all collaborate and we don't compete. And it's all about bringing each other up and fixing each other's crowns.
Yes, I love that. It was such a fun pageant week. We got nice call times. We didn't have to get up at 6 a.m. We got to get up, at 9 or 10, and everything was thought about. And, we always had wonderful meals. And after the pageant, the food was the best. Like it was some of the best food I've ever had in my life. And so it was all just a great experience. And everyone left so happy and so positive and so upbeat. And we all have a group chat now, and we all followed each other on social media, and everybody's commenting positive comments. And it's just so nice to feel so embraced.
That's awesome. So, Amber, we will switch gears I'm loving this conversation, and we can have this girl on girl talk for the longest time. But I want to take a moment and let you speak about your cause, because I was reading about it, and it feels that it feels like a small thing, but it's so much needed. It is a very critical part of our kids and even adults who go to swimming, or we go to like recreational vacation and stuff like that. So it's a very practical cause to advocate for, and not many people think about it. So share more about this cause, and what have you done, and what are your plans with it?
Sure. My mission is swim safety and drowning prevention. When I was 5 years old, I was a non-fatal drowning victim. I did what a lot of parents do, a lot of kids do. My parents were getting, the tackle box and stuff out of the car because we were going to go fishing. And I ran away and got away from them, and ran over the hill, and ran down to the lake, and ran out on the pier, and I tripped and I fell in, into deep lake water, and I couldn't swim. And I just remember sinking beneath the waves and thinking, oh no, my dad's going to be so mad at me. That was like my last thought. That's the last thing I remember thinking. And my brother, who was 6 years older, happened to crest the hill and see me fall in, and somehow was able to find me and retrieve me, and I was revived. And, I remember that. It's my first formative memory. And I remember that I just, feeling so helpless and so scared. And it's sort of my first memory growing up where I, remember it like a movie. And it was so impactful to me. And then about 2 years ago, I was at a pool party, and there was a child who began to drown, but nobody noticed. There were all these parents standing around the pool. We were all sitting there. We were all talking. And I just looked down, and there was a child immobile at the bottom of the pool. And nobody would have expected it because he had been swimming well all day. And so I think what happened, and the mistake we as parents made, is we let the kids swim too long. Even if they can swim well, they can get tired. They can get a cramp. They can, accidentally ingest some water. Something can happen. Mm-hmm. And so I dove in and saved him. And luckily, he was revived and he was okay. And I said, wow, this is an epidemic. And at that time, I did not know what to do. When I pulled him out, he was blue. He wasn't responsive. He was limp. And I just set him down, and I laid him on his side and put his hand over his head. And nobody knew how to do CPR. We were all panicked. And luckily, he revived on his own. It sounds like gross to say, but he started vomiting up white foam. I didn't even know that could happen. And it just affected me so much that I said, we have to do something about this. Like, you even think your kids are good because they can swim, and they're not. And so I went that next weekend. I got American Red Cross CPR lifeguard pro certified. I started doing swim safety, drowning prevention. I worked as Mrs. Florida to get a bill passed for free swim lessons in Florida for children 5 and under, because, you know, swim lessons can be expensive, and that should never be a barrier to someone learning a life-saving skill. And as Mrs. USA, I want to get that passed on a national level. And then as Mrs. Universe, I want to get that passed, you know, throughout the world, because unfortunately in America, the number one preventable cause of death for children 4 and under is drowning. In Florida, it's 5 and under. And in some nations around the world, it's as much as children 10 and under. Their number one cause of death that is preventable is drowning. And that's the thing that is difficult about this topic, is that it's preventable through barriers, through monitoring, and through children learning how to swim. If a child can learn how to swim, they are 90% less likely to die from a drowning incident. And I always say it should be every child's first sport, because it's the only sport that can save your life. So, right, we have 1 and 2 year old little girls or little boys, and we put them in dance, and we put them in t-ball, and we put them in, you know, every soccer, all the sports, and football. And, you know, swimming should be their first sport, because it's the only sport that has the ability to save their life. And I've met so many families.
Someone else's life, like you saved that little boy's life.
Right, exactly. And I've met so many families, and, you know, drowning accidents they're fast and they're silent. People think that it's thrashing around and it's yelling for help. It's none of those things. They just silently sink beneath the waves. And so I always tell people, you know, if you can't find your child, right, your 1 or 2 year old, and you're looking for them and you're calling their names, always check all the bodies of water around the house first. Because for some reason, that's usually where people look last, because you look out, you see the pool, and it just looks glassy and it looks fine and it looks like nothing happened. But you should actually go and look down, because when a child is missing, seconds can make the difference and save a life. So I always give that advice. But yes, it's actually, you know, it's a cause very near and dear to my heart, because I've been on both sides. I've drowned and was luckily saved, and then I saved a child who was drowning, and each part is equally emblazoned in my memory as such a core memory, and such a sort of traumatic event. People always say, "Wow, you saved a child's life. You must feel great." No, it felt horrible. I never ever want to feel that helpless ever again, which is why I went and got CPR, American Red Cross certified lifeguard pro, so that the next time that happens, I know what to do. Because when that happens, you think, oh, I can YouTube how to do CPR or something. And there's not the time to do it. Like, you just have to have the muscle reaction.
Yeah. In that moment of panic, no one knows what to do.
Yes, we were all just running around like, wow, we didn't know. It was very panicked.
Now, that's a very practical cause and much needed, not just for kids, even for adults. Because I know I am never 100% comfortable in water. And I know that no one is 100% safe in water, even the best of the swimmers. So yes, that awareness is much needed. I remember my daughter used to go to a swim instructor in Dallas. And the first thing she taught all the kids and all the parents was water safety. So I have been in a community where people have talked about water safety. People have talked about how important, she mentioned that a lot of times when your kid is drowning, the parents, they just jump into the water to save them, even if they don't know swimming. It's just out of love. They feel like, oh, I have to go save my kid. But now there are now 2 people drowning. So
that's right.
She used to teach us ways of not putting us in danger and still how to get the kid out of danger.
That's right. So there is a saying that says that a drowning man will drown another man. So yes, if you do see someone who's drowning, you should generally throw a life ring, maybe like there's a thing to clean the pool, and you can
yes.
Yeah, like something long to like pull them back in so that you don't have to put yourself in harm's way, because yes, a drowning person can take you with you,
Yeah.
you with them. So you always have to be very careful also. And that's why I became a lifeguard, certified, so that I knew these things going forward.
Yes, and these are little things which we don't know, or we know but we tend to forget because we are not we it's not that you see someone drowning every day. It just happens one day and then people panic. They don't know what to do. So that's why we need to repeat these messages over and over again, so that it just gets part of our thinking process when we are in that situation, what to do.
Absolutely.
So that's an amazing cause you're advocating for, Amber.
Thank
So
you so much. Yes. I would love to see the drowning statistics drop dramatically.
I'm sure with the crown and the platform and the podium and the voice that you have, I'm sure you will be able to make a much bigger difference.
Thank you. That would be my ardent hope and dream.
That's awesome. So, okay, so my next question to you will be, what are your plans moving forward? I know you want to take Ruthvi's legacy forward. You want to make an impact with your cause. You want to just inspire more and more people and more women with your crown and with your position. So just, talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so my goal and dream is to do as many appearances as Mrs. Universe USA as I can, highlight swim safety and drowning prevention. I also do motivational speaking. I do a talk called Shedding Limits, where I talk about not only my weight loss, but shedding the mindset that came along with it, right? I had to have the courage to not only lose 160 pounds, but I also had to have the courage to walk into a room full of beauty queens who've been competing for years and years and go out my first time and try to win a pageant. And it took a lot of courage. It took a big mindset shift to think that I would be even able to attempt to do all of this. And so I want to give more keynote speeches in and around the country, internationally. And that's what I think this next year holds for me, as well as getting ready for Mrs. Universe and hopefully bringing home that crown to the United States of America.
Wow, that all sounds so inspirational, Amber. I'm sure I don't want to get into the questions related to what did you do to lose your weight? How was your weight loss? But I definitely want to talk about it on a high level, not getting into the specific details of it. But I'm sure when we meet in person, we are definitely going to talk about it a lot. And not just women, a lot of men are also struggling. Kids are also struggling with health issues, which are a cause of them being overweight. So just educate us a little bit on how to more than the physical transformation, that mindset. That's something I will be more interested in hearing from you.
Yeah. So what I started doing, which helped me the most, was portion control. I used to, make a thing of macaroni and cheese and eat the whole pan, right? And so I started doing much smaller portions, like 6 ounces or a cup. And then I would make myself wait a few hours and see if I was still hungry. Did I want more, instead of eating so much at once? Another trick was I would always, about 10 or 15 minutes before I was going to eat, drink like a whole glass of water, so that, I wasn't so ravenous and hungry. Because a lot of times, I think for me, I thought I was hungry and I would go and eat, but I was really thirsty. And so I was definitely overeating. And then as far as mindset shift, I also definitely ate for pleasure, ate when I was sad, ate when I was happy, ate when I was mad, like ate when I was angry. And so I used it as a coping mechanism. And so I had to start finding other better outlets for, like, oh, I'm so happy, I'm going to eat a chocolate. Oh, I'm so sad, I'm going to eat a cookie. Oh, I'm having like a rough day, I should definitely have a piece of cake. Like I started filling it in with other better things, like, oh, if I'm sad, maybe I should journal. Oh, if I'm really happy, I can, go on a walk. I can do something else more proactive. So I started reframing eating to live instead of living to eat.
Wow. So yeah, we do that. When we are happy, we eat. When we are sad, we eat. We eat our emotions. Yes, we do that. Everyone, I think everyone has been a victim of it in one form or the other. So thank you for sharing that. And I love the way you transform not just physically, but mentally. It's all about that mental shift, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the hardest part though.
Yeah.
So it was harder to change my mindset than to change the number on the scale. It was actually easier to lose the weight than it was to think like, okay, I am, gonna eat when I'm hungry, not out of emotion. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to go for this pageant. I'm going to go speak in front of, 500 people. Like I can do it. And I started just telling myself positivity instead of negativity. And I call them ants, automatic negative thoughts. And I said, oh, no ants. So every time there's an ant, I like stomp the ant out. Nope, no ants. Like if I feel myself going negative, having ants, those automatic negative thoughts, I stomp them out and I replace them with positivity. Like instead of saying, why would anybody want this? Why would anybody want to hear what I have to say? It's like, no, I am valuable. I have something to say. I have important things to share. I can help other people. Like just even reframing the way you talk to yourself is so important.
Well, I just got a glimpse of one of your keynote speeches.
Yes, you did.
I see, I'm very smart. I caught on that when you said ants. I was like, oh, there you go.
It is in the talk.
It is. It has to be. So you set a goal for yourself. You decided that you're going to go for this pageant, and that kind of became your sort of the guiding light to get you from where you were to where you are now. How does goal setting has helped you? Like, was that the only thing that was motivating you, or what did you do around that?
I did. I still have it. I have a piece of paper that I wrote on and I said, I want to lose 100 pounds. I want to get my teeth straightened. So my teeth were not straight. I did 106 trays of Invisalign and now they're straight. So that was on the goal. I had a lot of things like I wanted to, I just wrote it was probably about 4 years ago. And I just wrote down like my just craziest wish list, like that I would get healthy, that I would lose 100 pounds, I would get my teeth straightened, I would go back and do this leadership program at Cornell University for, my job. I wanted to do that and I did that. And so, I had this list and there's probably about 2 or 3 more things on the list that I haven't completed yet. But like that list that I wrote 5 years ago is almost done. I've just systematically gone through and just slowly checked off all the boxes of like what my dream life would be.
Wow, that is so inspirational. I know writing goals down really gives you a visual and then having a plan around it. And I mean, look at you. I'm feeling short of words right now. You're not just a beauty queen. You are a beauty with brains. Like you are educated, you are beautiful, you're motivated, you know how to set goals and you know how to achieve those goals. I mean, thank you for being our queen, Amber. This is amazing.
Thank you. I mean, and one thing I thought when I was making this list is like being overweight and being heavy is really hard. And getting in shape and being healthy is really hard. So you can choose your hard. Like it's not going to be easy either way you go. Having health issues, being overweight, being pre-diabetic, getting diabetes, none of that's easy. That's really hard to live with and to go through. And losing 160 pounds and getting healthy and all the things that I had to do to turn back from the road that I was going down was really, really hard. But I decided it was going to be hard either way. So which way did I want my life to look like?
That's awesome. That is so inspirational. I know when you get on stage and when you start talking about your journey, you, as I said in the very beginning, that you're going to inspire many in more than one ways, not just with your weight loss, with your community work, with your you being a mom and still being able to do so much, and of course inspiring so many in their pageant journey.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for everything that you have done so far, and thank you for sharing all your stories and making yourself feel so relatable to all of us. And then just showing us that it's impossible. It's possible. The impossible is possible if you put your heart and mind to it.
I think if 3.5 years ago, when I weighed 300 pounds, just about, I told everybody, I'm going to be Mrs. USA, nobody would have believed me. And it would have been hard for me to believe me back then. But as time has gone on, I have talked positively to myself, started believing in myself, listened to, so often, your husband or your mom or your mother-in-law and father-in-law or kids, they say nice things to us and we go, oh, you're just saying that. No, they're not just saying that. Like the people who love you are telling you how they see you through the way they compliment you. And I think being able to take those and internalize those and believe those is also another thing that people can do to start seeing ourselves more clearly, because I do believe that we are all our own worst critic, right? Like you see a photo of yourself and you go, no, like what happened? And so, you like when other people say, no, you look so beautiful, like they're not just saying that, they truly mean it. And you should believe the nice things that people tell you about yourself.
That's awesome. So, you know what? My three takeaways from today's session is have a goal,
Have a goal.
do
Yeah.
positive self talk, and
Yes.
stomp the ants.
Yes, stomp the ants. No automatic negative thoughts. We all have them, right? Like, let's say you're going into work and you have to give a presentation and you think, oh, this is going to be so boring. Nobody wants to hear me talk. Like, what? And it's like, no, they do want to hear you talk and they do want to know what you have to say. And if they thought they could do it better, they would be the one up there doing it. So you have to, instead of saying those three negative things, you got to tell yourself those three positive things. And if you do that enough, then you will slowly get rid of all your ants.
That is so awesome and such an amazing way to put it. Thank you for the ants. I think that
Thank you.
so Amber, we have been talking for some time. I know you have other stuff planned. I can go on and talk to you, but it's time. Yes, same here. I love you, and it's time for me to let you go and inspire many. Thank you once again for sharing your journey with me and giving me the opportunity to interview you, to talk to you, get to know you a little bit more. Welcome to my dream family one more time.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to see you in person and give you a big giant hug. It's going to be wonderful. Thank you so much for the wonderful questions, Aditi.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in person as well. And I am totally rooting for you for representing the USA at the Mrs. Universe pageant next year. Before I let you go, just, anything on the closing thought that you want to share with the people who are watching right now? You're already very motivational. So anything on the closing, and then we can say goodbye.
Sure. We'll just summarize it with get your kids into swim lessons. Also, if you're an adult, they have adult swim lessons. Do you know 50% of adults can't swim or can't swim confidently? That means literally just about half. So you can always, never too late to learn. And then write down your goals and stomp out those ants.
Stomp the ants. That's a perfect end to today's session. So thank you once again, Amber. I wish you all the best. Congratulations, and looking forward to seeing you in person. And all the best with everything coming forward.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
What is the most important lesson you've learned in your personal journey to this pageant?
I think a lot of you would be surprised to know that 3.5 years ago, I weighed almost 300 pounds. I was a size 22 and I was pre-diabetic. I went to the doctor and she told me that if I didn't turn my life around, I probably wouldn't see my kids graduate high school. One of them's right over there, she's 5. I spent the last 3.5 years on a 160-pound weight loss journey, and I'm so proud to be standing in front of you tonight because this was my dream.
Congratulations. You are looking so beautiful and you have carried yourself so beautifully throughout this pageant.
Thank you so
That's
much.
amazing. Thank you.
Our Mrs. Universe 2025 is Amber! Congratulations, Amber.
I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Baby, I'ma have the best freaking night of